Welcome to Season 8 of Paper Talk,
where we will explore how to build a creative community that fuels your art and your business.
Hi, I'm Quynh of Pink and Posy.
I'm Jessie Chu of Crafted to Bloom.
And I'm Sarah Kim of Handmade by Sarah Kim.
This season is all about connections.
We'll share stories, strategies, and collaborations that strengthen your own community.
Tune in every other Thursday for new episodes.
Thanks for joining us today, and be sure to follow Paper Talk Podcast. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Paper Talk. We're so happy you're here. And if you want to learn more about Paper Talk, go to our website, papertalkpodcast.com, to hear previous episode. And also, we're in all your favorite listening apps, Apple, Spotify, everything. You can find us anywhere, you guys.
Make sure to subscribe.
Yes, please. So what we want to talk to you about today, which we have touched in our past 2 episodes for season 8, is about community. And I was just asking Sarah and Jessie about how did they build their community on how they're able to have their followers love and buy their products. I feel like we have our Paper Talk community where everybody knows the 3 of us and learn from all 3 of us. But I really want to dive a little bit more on the individual part of this, where I talk about how I built my community of my followers. Sarah will talk about her followers, and Jessie will talk about her followers, because in some ways they do overlap as people that like our work, but the people that buy your work is actually a little bit different. So we want to talk about that today and delve in. So who would like to talk first?
Okay.
Sarah?
Yeah. I feel like I do have a lot of followers, but they're not necessarily, they don't translate into community, because I did get a lot of followers through like a viral video, and that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to turn into sales. It did initially, actually. So I remember like seeing my website and finding all the views and finding all the clicks and things like that. But it kind of just dies down. So it really doesn't mean anything, I feel like, until you make a sale, right? I do feel like ultimately community is when it's like special attention to the person. So when it's a real DM going back to back, like going back and forth, when it's an email, when it's like, I would actually tell people to concentrate on their newsletters, or specifically even on DMs or even comments, because it's actual like personal communication, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I feel like that's where I see my community. And that's where I find people that make purchases that actually are my students. They're the ones who buy my templates. Yeah, I think that's probably my community in a sense. And I did want to mention that I feel like the biggest relationships that I actually get is from workshops, because they're in person. And I've done like craft shows where I get to see people and things like that. And that does help a lot. But, I kind of stopped doing that. And then ever since, I feel like my workshops are where I find the real relationships. And surprisingly, I get so many cool opportunities where they took my workshop and then they loved it, and then they end up introducing me to someone else, and I do like some crazy corporate event or something like that. So then a lot of times I'm like, whoa, where'd you find me? And they'll be like, oh, I went to your workshop with my friend. And then it became like this whole company related thing. Mm-hmm. And actually I'm working on a project with a museum, and the person that was in charge of that actually found me through a workshop. So she just hung out with me on a workshop day with her friends. And then it ended up becoming this whole thing that I got introduced to, like a place where I could do like paper flowers and things like that. So yeah, I feel like community is so important, like having real relationships with your customers, with your followers. It's where you make your sales. Yeah, actually, that's probably the most important part. So even hitting a viral video, it means nothing unless you have that community that actually supports you.
So true. Yeah, I would say workshops has been really a key thing ever since after COVID on building your relationship and being able to see someone, give someone a hug. And I've actually developed a relationship with an amazing person. Her name is Angela. She's over in North Carolina. She attended my Garden Rose workshop last summer. And then when I had the Peony workshop, she came to Orange County and brought her 2 sister along. And not only did she like spread the love of paper flowers with her sister, but she also has a restaurant and a brewery. So you guys, I'm actually getting a second beer collaboration, which I'm so excited about.
Nice.
I know. So you never know who your students are and who is walking through the door, who's watching you. So when you're out in front of people, always make sure you're putting your best foot forward and just be nice to everyone because you never know who they might know and what their connection is. And don't be afraid to ask and to put it out to the universe like, hey, I want to do this. Who's out there that be willing to collaborate with me? That is where the gold comes in.
Yeah.
How about you, Jessie?
It's so interesting because when we all started making paper flowers, we didn't really think about community. We didn't think about other people looking at our work. We were just like, this is what I'm doing, and tentatively sharing it with other people on social media. But I mean, essentially that's what you're trying to grow, is you're trying to grow a community or a group of people who really love your work, who support you because they love your work and they like you. And that takes time, to be honest. Like Sara said, viral videos are great, but at the same time, they don't necessarily attract the most loyal followers. I mean, I think we've all been really incredibly lucky to have followers who started following us from our beginnings. And it's always cool to look at, I always look at people who buy my work. I look at my invoice and I look at like, not just like how many sales, but who's buying, and being able to see and recognize names that repeatedly come up. It's really amazing. Like it honestly is. And I think as any artist, we just feel super grateful to have those people on our side. But it is a challenge. I won't lie. Like, as you guys all know, like recently I've been shifting my business a bit so that I actually separate my business, my teaching business from my like making art business, because I didn't feel it was very balanced at this point. And I wanted to talk to the right people because I do have people who follow me who only want to learn from me in terms of how, I make paper flowers or whatever I make. And then there's some people who only want to buy from me because they're not crafters, they're not artists. They just love my work and they want to buy. And then there's some in the middle who are there's some overlap, obviously. But now that, you have a certain number of followers, you want to make sure you're talking to the right people. Or otherwise, if you're not, let's say half the time you're not talking to the right people, they might forget about you. They might not remember why they follow you, right? That's what I've been doing. And that's why I started a new Instagram account specifically for my teaching. And it has been slow in terms of accumulating followers. It's kind of like starting all over again. My only advantage is that I actually have an established account. So there is some credibility there already. Meaning if people are following me, they do see a link to my other account. They see I have a lot of followers. They know it's not just fresh off the boat. They know that there's people who do follow me, and that in itself speaks to trust, right? People trust me, so that people are following me on my other account. So I recognize that that's actually easier than starting just literally from scratch too. But it's really interesting because, like I said, there is overlap. What I did notice was that essentially if you put out good work that connect with people, they will follow you. And for them to stay and keep following you, you have to continue to make that work. You have to continue to be consistent in especially your aesthetic, because if you change your aesthetic a little bit too much, they might forget who you are. So when I was thinking about, okay, if I have to do a new account, like how different is it going to be? Is it going to be completely different, or does there have to be some overlap? And essentially, I decided there has to be some overlap aesthetically. I still have to share what I make that I sell, because that's what people follow me for, right? That's what they aspire to. They aspire to be an artist that can sell their work at a certain pricing or certain look, but they also want to learn from me. So you still have to sort of show your best work, I would say, no matter if you're teaching or if you're selling. But at the same time, because I'm speaking to two different followings, I need to not target, that's such a bad word for it. I need to share with them things that they want to hear. So with teaching, I want to share with them things like techniques, maybe behind the scenes in the studio, a little bit more nitty-gritty stuff. It could be less polished, I would say, because most of the people who follow me who teach themselves are not that polished, because they don't have to do polished things. They don't have to share polished things, right? At least not online. So it's okay to kind of share that. On the other hand, if I'm sharing things to my account, my Jessie.True account for selling things, where I'm selling things for hundreds of dollars, I can't really show the ABCs of what I'm doing. That's going to take away the magic. And those people who want to buy from me, they don't really care about that. They want to see a little bit, but they don't need the explanation, because they only appreciate what I do. They don't need to know what I do. So knowing like your target market, kind of like your followers, what do they want, I think is really important in trying to grow or maintain a group of people who love your work, because they're different. And when we talk about community, like you said, Quynh, like we have a group of amazing people following all three of us, but they follow us for a different reason, right, than us individually. So you really need to like nail down like what are you trying to say and who are you trying to say it to? And then figure out, okay, what do you think they would want to see from me? What do you think they want to hear from me? How often do they want to hear from me? And do it and sort of narrow that down, because if you don't communicate the right way, I think, Sarah, you were talking about the word communicate. If you don't communicate the correct way and your communication style is not the right one for the community you want to actually talk to, and there's a dissonance, then you're not going to be able to keep those people on your side. They're going to drop off. They're going to be like, why am I following this person? I can't connect with them. One thing I do want to say is that the people who agree with you, this is so bad, but this is the truth. The people who agree with you, that value the same things you do, that love the same things that you do, they will stay with you. And they will go to the ends of the earth to be with you, to either buy your products or to support you or whatever. But the people who don't agree with you, who don't have the same values, no matter what you say to them, no matter how you want to convince them to follow you or buy your products, they're not, because they don't like you, essentially. They're not on your side. And that's okay, because there are going to be people who are not on your side. You're not there to convince those people to like you. What you are there to do is to try to collect good people and people who share the same values as you around you, right? Kind of like your friends. You want to make friends with people you like, right? You don't need to spend time trying to convince people who don't like you to be your friends. So you have to sort of think of it that way, because one, it's authentic, and two, that's just life, right? People, they like you or they don't. If they like you, they'll stick with you. If they don't, they won't. The intention of creating this community for yourself is to, one, have people buy your work, but two, actually have a group of people who understand you, so that you're not an island, right? And you can talk to them, and then they feel connected, and it becomes an authentic relationship, really. Albeit it might be virtual, but it's authentic. And I think that's what is real, is that authenticity is what keeps people returning. It's what keeps people to keep reading your newsletters. I think I have to stress that I only read newsletters where I know it's not written by AI, because the tone and the way, the pattern, I guess, of speech is so unique to that person that's what attracts me to them. It's how they communicate with me. So I think it is really important to sort of devote some time to intentionally write intentional and authentic things to your followers, whether it's in a caption or whether it's a newsletter or whether it's on a podcast, because that's the only way that you can communicate with them other than your art. And that's the only way that you're going to stick out compared to other artists who maybe, they like their work too, but you don't speak to them the same way that they do. You speak in your authentic way, and they prefer your authentic way. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really interesting having a community, unintentionally in a way. But I think these are the people, your cheerleaders. These are the people why you make art, to be honest. Why you want to, you make art to share. You make art to express yourself. But, if there's nobody to share it with, it can be really lonely. Yeah, I don't know. Those are my 2 cents in terms of creating a community. Now that I have to refocus on creating one, I do realize that some things that I've done in the past were intentional, but I didn't realize it, because you just do it, right? You're just like, oh, this is just me. And I didn't realize that the way I maybe speak to people in my newsletters, or the way that I am in my workshops, just even asking hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Am I explaining this properly? Little things like that, those human touches really matter when you're trying to make connections with the people who love you and love your work.
Actually, I feel like one of the reasons why I decided to join Paper Talk Podcast was actually that Jessie was saying, a human touch. It is a way to be able to talk and have these real conversations in our podcast where, that it's not something that you just put out on Instagram or TikTok. So I do love that this is kind of our space that we can be real with our listeners and followers about the back end of our business, and even just, upcoming projects and things like that. So I do, I feel like having a podcast is probably one of a good way to communicate to your followers. And yeah, I feel like this is a safe space for us to be real. So I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we're really lucky that we decided to create this podcast very early on, because when we did, podcasts were a thing, but not really. And I think it's actually given us a lot of opportunity to connect with people who otherwise would not hear our voices, right? So for transparency's sake, I know it's a great marketing. It's a great way to market yourself.
Yeah.
Even if at the beginning you don't have a lot of listeners, you having your voice out there, I think matters because, Quynh, we were talking about other opportunities where those opportunities actually want to see what you're like on camera, what your voice is like, whether you can interview someone, whether you look polished or whether you don't. Like, so it's not just your followers, but it's also other opportunities where people are curious about that, not just your art, but how you present yourself. The other thing I wanted to say was, I think what also really resonates, and it certainly resonates with me, and this is why I follow people, is when they are very transparent about the struggles in their business, because it happens. It literally happens. So even when I get emails, like, let's say I'm like, trying to pre-order something from someone, and then like I get an email later, they're like, oh my God, I sent the wrong links, or oh my God, like it looks like I have to delay this because I don't have my shipping materials. Like things like that, I actually find I understand it better if you tell me why, as opposed to being like, I'm not going to ship things out for the next 8 weeks, but I don't want to tell people because I don't have everything in order. Like, I'd rather you share that with me because I literally would understand that and be like, oh my God, this is a human being. I can relate to that. This is a person who's runs a small business out of their own studio. Like, I want to support that. And surprisingly, people want to see some of, like, what I mean is, if you have a struggle, like, don't be afraid to share it because people will actually connect with that, ironically.
Yes,
because,
they can relate to it.
They can relate to it. It happens in their business or at home life, right? They can relate to it. Granted, you don't want to show everything, right? But in those times where, you know what, or even just saying, oh, I'm wrong, it was my mistake, people actually react really well to it. It's when you pretend everything's okay and you don't actually communicate at all to your followers about things, that's when people start thinking, well, I don't know if I should trust this person. Like, they're not open with me about XYZ. And surprisingly, those posts or newsletters where you do kind of share a little bit about maybe some of the difficulties behind the scenes, people understand and people actually connect really well with that. Because most of us, all of us, I would say, are like imperfect, right? We're very imperfect people and we make mistakes and things sometimes don't happen to go our way. And, it's okay to recognize that. And you'll be surprised. People actually will, send messages of support and actually tell you, that's okay.
Yeah. Actually, one of my most engaging things on my social media is my stories, because I try to show up and talk about what's happening, a mini update, of today. That's when I have the most engagement, compared to any other post. And like, I've spent, hours and hours on editing this polished video and there's like nothing. But then when I'm just sitting on here ranting about my day today or something, then they're like, oh yeah, me too, or something, Actually,
we should talk about that. Because we have noticed a shift in Instagram. I mean, even I much prefer to use stories. Yeah. And then like when you're bored, you just kind of like go through the stories. As
a viewer, I never look at people's posts. Yeah. I look at people's stories.
Thanks, Sarah.
I only look at people's posts when they post it on their stories because I saw it on their stories. So then I'm like, okay, if I'm the consumer doing that, that means all the other people are likely doing that. Yeah. I think there is a behavior of Instagram following and, TikTok behavior. What does that look like? The culture in TikTok or YouTube, it's very different.
Yeah. Actually, so question, with your stories, do you like just let it run? So so that like it's one person after another person after another person, or do you like select which talking head to go? It's like, oh, I want to hear from Quynn's story. I want to hear, you know what I mean? Because it's all
I start from the beginning and I just go, and then I'm like, okay, I think I wasted enough time.
Because they make it really easy. If you saw the first video, someone they're like kind of following, you can just swipe it and miss the rest of the stories that they have to go to the next person.
Yeah. So I wonder what the algorithm
I think
does.
the algorithm is whoever you follow more, they are in the front. So if I talk to Quynh a lot, then Quynh's is always in the front. So I look through your stories.
I definitely think that algorithm is probably better than that post algorithm.
I agree.
There's determining what you want to see.
It is smaller eyes, but it's very people that do follow you and want to know more about you.
Yeah.
So the ratio or the percentage is much higher on view and time that they see on your posts versus on your regular feed.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, so interesting. I mean, that ultimately is part of how you maintain and build a community. There's so many other ways, I suppose. But one of the ways is, just like you said, Sarah, like speaking directly to them or having something for them to kind of view, inside look on a daily basis. So that they feel like they know you. And it's true, they do, because they see everything, right? They like literally every day what you're doing.
It's a little too scary sometimes, though. I'm like, oh, maybe I put too much information on the internet.
I didn't know we were that intimate.
Yeah.
I do find the engagement on story tends to be more intimate. Like, it's not just I like this. It's this is my comment on it, or like, this is me talk. Yeah, it definitely is.
Yes. And I love the fact that you can comment on those stories and then you can have another conversation. And so I've recently posted about passion flower because I've been growing that. And it's been really interesting to see how this passion flower has been just climbing its trellis, blooming one right after the other. And I never realized passion flower only lasts 24 hours. And it just opens.
It just cuts off?
And it closes back up. And then it just stays there for the longest time. And I was like, oh, this is so interesting. But then I've been able to get a lot of really great close-ups of images that I know I cannot find on Google Images. I was like, oh, this is for my reference too. And so I was like, I think other people would be interested in it. So I'd like do the super close-up of all the different pieces and parts, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, what interests you would naturally interest your community, because they are following you because they're interested in what you're doing or what you're sharing. So, I mean, being authentic on that, I think, is really important. You don't try to be somebody you're not, because you're not going to have the right followers follow you, right?
And it'll be hard to grow your audience, because if you're not liking what you're doing, why be fake? Because it's not going to help you post every single day or share, because that's not who you are. And I do find that if you can stay true to yourself, everything is so much easier. It's easier to post, easier to talk, easier to communicate, because you don't have to like fake it or lie or anything. You're just like, this is me. And the best part is people will accept who you are. And that's how you will grow your business, because people will trust you. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I mean, this is a topic we talk about a lot on the mastermind as well, in terms of how to build your community. And I know we have mentioned like collaborations, which is essentially what we're doing here, all three of us, right? We're collaborating together. And in some sense, if you work with somebody who you love their work, where you guys have great conversation, you guys share similar values or whatever it might be, interests, I guess, and hobbies, chances are, your followers would like their work and their followers would like yours. And in a way, that's a really great way to sort of grow your following together, right? Kind of cross promote each other, especially if you're starting with very little following, but the person you're collaborating with has a healthy following. Chances are, if you're going to be on their channel, on their podcast, or even just doing work with them and your name being mentioned or tagged, it's a good opportunity for their followers to see if they can connect with you. And, and it's a fantastic opportunity for you to see if you can connect with them and engage them in your work. But I remember we were talking about that in the mastermind. We were talking about possible ways to grow your following outside of just you, outside of yourself, right? Because you're one person versus two people or three people or whatever it might be. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like on Instagram. It could be you're collaborating on a product together and collaborating on a workshop together. Workshops are great too, to be part of something. Not only will you, meet people, but also you'll meet people who like their work, who like your work. And then afterwards, go back online and continue that relationship. So I think there's lots of ways to build community. And I'm actually really looking forward to our community in September.
I know. It's going to be so exciting. Yes. It's going to be so amazing to see them back in our little circle again, because we're about 80% are returning, which I find that's so wonderful. And it feels good to know that what we're offering, people love it, and they are achieving really great things with their business and their growth, and they want more of it. And I feel like our community, we don't have that yet. And I hope that we're creating this really great safe space that will help grow and nurture our community even better and create new leaders. Because as we get older, we want to make sure that the generation that is right behind us is growing the right way and not making the same mistakes that we are. because they're almost like our children. We want to make sure that, they're growing with tools and things that will help them be better than what we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was actually writing an Instagram caption about how, because I was, the thing with opening a new account is that what I did was actually downloaded all of my old posts from my original account, because I'm going to archive a bunch of those and move them over. But the cool thing is going through them, it reminded me of what we did actually as a Paper Florist collective, and also, before Sara and then after Sara as well. But one of the biggest things I was thinking about was the fact that I don't think I would have met you without social media, one, but also because we had those makers meetings in the Facebook group. So these groups, we would meet on a monthly basis. There'll be like 20 to 30 of us, whoever, anyone who can show up is free. We would show up and just talk about, paper flowers and everything, really everything. I don't think I would have met you. I don't think I would have met Priscilla. I don't think I would have met a whole bunch of people had we not had this group, informal, but this group to kind of meet each other, talk to each other and connect. And I don't think we really have that nowadays. Really, we don't. People are busy and we just don't have.
Facebook has changed.
Yeah, Facebook has changed so drastically that I was just thinking about how, hopefully this mastermind will be that type of community that would provide people with the opportunities to meet other people without feeling shy about it. You know what I mean? Without being like, oh, I don't know if I want to go, or I don't know. It's so easy to kind of put off. But being a formal, like every other week meeting, you're kind of, forced to go and meet other people. And you never know what might happen out of these meetings. Like, because of the initial Facebook meetings, honestly, it was just there, see who shows up, just going to share what I did, see what other people did, and that was it. But you build relationships, unknowingly in a way. You build connections. You see the people that you actually feel you have a connection with. And then, maybe you reach out, maybe you're, it's 5 meetings in, but you feel like you're not alone and you feel comfortable enough to kind of connect with someone and actually do things outside of it. That's essentially what happened with us, right? That's what we did. We chatted a bit and then I came to visit you and then we were like, okay, I think this is good. Let's do more together. Right? And that doesn't happen a lot anymore on social media. It doesn't really give us that opportunity like before. So, I'm hoping that this mastermind will provide some of that sense of community for a lot of us and a lot of paper flower artists out there who are looking for that, or maybe not even looking for that. But that's there. That's what happens at our mastermind. You find connections and a great group of people to support you on your way. Yeah,
exactly. I love that. I'm going to end it there. And because that's such a good reminder for everyone is reach out to your friends that you have on social media and just check in on them. Just say, hey, I'm just thinking of you. I just saw this flower that reminded me of you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. To end our little episode, I want to change it up a little bit. And you probably already heard about this term, girl math. And so, our question is, what purchase have you done that has brought joy to your life? And I want to put in girl math because that is something that happens that we think about in our head. I'll explain what girl math is. Girl math is more of an emotional purchase that maybe you purchased something and it didn't quite work out. And it was, we'll just make it a nice even $100. And you return it as oh, I have $100. What can I spend it on? Because it's practically free money, right? And so I'm going to start off with something that my little sister is really into credit card points and learning how to utilize credit card because you do have to pay annual fee. And what can you do to maximize all the benefits that you can get so that way that fee that you have to pay every year doesn't seem as bad. So one of the things that I have looked on is, I know. And so what I do is, as you know, we all make paper flowers and we all have to watch something. And so one of the things that I have really enjoyed is Apple TV. And I found through my Chase card, my reserve, you can actually get a subscription and pay it with your Chase card and you'll get a credit back. It's free money, you guys. It's great. So when I watch Apple TV and all my favorite shows on there, I'm like, yes, this is great. I'm making money as I'm making flowers. How about you, Sara? What's your girl math?
That. I feel like I need to get Apple TV because I have a couple shows that I want to watch and it's on Apple TV. So
it's free. You should totally do it. I believe American Express also does it too.
Oh.
So if you guys want more, DM me. I'll give you some tips.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, similar idea to credit card points. I do get money from being a part of like affiliate links. So anytime I get money back, putting out a code out there, and sometimes it's me using the affiliate links, I do get like a percentage of it. And actually, there was like one link that I accumulated for like a whole year, and I didn't know that I forgot to fill out the form to do the direct deposit. And so it was a lot of money. And I was like, oh, because if you make like, a small percentage every day or something like that, after a year, it can be a lot of money. I finally figured out how to like get it direct deposited into my account. I got it. And the first day I was like, okay, I'm going to go shopping. So then the girl math actually, to me, it's like free money, even though, someone either paid for it or I paid for it myself. But I use my affiliate link to buy some outfits. I am going to Japan in like almost a week or wait, 2 weeks or a week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So of course I had to buy like all these outfits to figure out what I'm going to be wearing in Japan. And then I use my affiliate link to buy the outfits. So it was basically free, like
Yes, it is free.
it's actually like I bought a couple of outfits from Gap, and their summer, season right now, they're doing really well. I was like, oh, it's really cute. Because sometimes it's a hit or miss because, I don't know if I'm just going to be wearing t-shirt and jeans. I'm not that type of girl. So they did have a couple like sets and dresses, and they're on point in this season. So definitely check out Gap outfits.
Yay!
And use your affiliate link. It'll be practically free.
Make sure you do it. So let's give everybody a little tip how to do the affiliate link to get it back to you, because everyone has the phone where you can download the app. So what I do is on my app, you can share your affiliate link. Then what I do is I just hop on my desktop with that code or that URL link and put it on my desktop, and then it pops up. You log in
and you
then
get the credit. Yeah. So yeah, for me, there's like a little button on my desktop. It's like the Pinterest button where it's like an extension or like bookmark. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then it's for the affiliate link. So you can just push the button and your affiliate link will come out, and then you put that on your website or whatever, and then it turns into an affiliate link and you get credit for it.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you can do that with Amazon. I know that Amazon is pretty easy to sign up for. I know Target has their own affiliate link. A lot of our paper stores that I usually shop at has affiliate links. So definitely, just ask and see if they put you under the application for that.
And share the link with other people. Like I will click on, if I see Sarah wearing a cute outfit, it's like, oh, I love that. I'm going to click on her link.
Yes.
Okay. I do, as the lawyer, I do have to share a caveat about the affiliate links. You do have to disclose that's an affiliate link.
Yes.
You do have to disclose that if this person uses the link you send them, you may receive a small commission. They're not paying, they're technically not paying for your commission, but you'll receive a commission from the company that you're buying from. And it's really important to include that in your blog posts.
Yes, I do have it under fine print underneath.
And fine print,
do you have to do it in your Instagram stories? Because that's where usually I see all the links, right?
Yeah.
Do you have, I don't see anyone else mentioning.
Yeah, I don't know. But to be honest, you legally probably are supposed to.
Okay.
Just because somebody doesn't do something doesn't mean that it's right. Yeah, you gotta, legit. You gotta read the fine print, especially Amazon. Amazon's really strict on it. They have an Amazon affiliate policy. Read it. It's not that long, but read it, the fine print. The fine print specifically states that. But also as a general good practice to do that, because you will get people who are like, well, I didn't know it was an affiliate. Like, I didn't know you were, like, people would misunderstand what it means. So they'll be like, oh, you made money off of me. And it's like, well, no, in a way, yes, but in a way, no, you're not paying for it. Yeah. I mean, Target or wherever, share sale, they have fine print, they have policies. Make sure you take a look at that in terms of when and where you have to disclose. There are some like marketing providers, so email marketing providers that won't let you actually put in affiliate links as well, because it relates to spam, right? Essentially, some people will take advantage of that and will send an email with all these links, and that's recognized as spam. You do want to watch out how much you use on your email marketing and whether or not you're allowed to and what you have to disclose. Yeah.
I love how Jessie always keeps it straight.
I was going to say, this is why we love Jessie.
Yes.
This is information, legal information.
Yes, we need it.
That's what you'll get in the mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessie, what is your girl math?
So, yeah. So recently our lease ended. Actually, I mean, so by the time this comes out, our lease would have ended. So recently our lease on our vehicle ended. So we had really either two options, right? One is we lease a new vehicle or we buy it out. We found out that we would get our security deposit back. It's like $5,000. And so we were like, yeah, why don't we just buy out the car instead? Wouldn't that be cheaper than leasing a new vehicle? We get $5,000 back.
Which you already paid into.
Which I already paid into. It's not like I made any money, technically. But girl math, I did.
Yes, definitely. 100%.
Definitely. It's like, yeah, why not buy a car? Why not? Instead of leasing it.
Yes.
We'll save money that way.
Love it. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I hope you're building your community, no matter where you are in what stage of growth that you are on Instagram, in your business. Grow it, because those are the people that will love and cheer you on. And we're here for you guys. So we'll see you in 2 weeks with our new episode.
Bye.
Bye, guys.